Welcome, good evening. Hope you're well. It's Sunday, the 26th of April, and the year 2020 of our Lord. Wow, isn't the year going quick? Isn't it? So I'm your host, John Mason. Welcome to Maseys Mancave. I've been doing podcasts and a few little blogs here and there since late last year. If you're a new viewer, welcome. For an hour of chit-chat, debate, discussion. Love you to join in. Introduce yourself to everybody on the comments. I can see the comments as they pop up. And, you know, we are live exclusively on Facebook. I've been looking at trying to do it on YouTube as well, but at the moment it's on Facebook. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you. Good to have you back. Good to have you back again. And it's one of those things that I've been playing around with. I've had some. This is the third time I've done it, so I've had some sound issues. And so I've downloaded some new software for free, a free 14-day trial, and that's why there's that little. Which way is it? That way. That little watermark, because I'm doing a free trial. So I've been kind of sussing it out a little bit, playing around with it. So I'm hoping it's going to be quite a different interactive experience for people that are joining us. I can see your comments as they pop up. So I don't have to toggle between different things. There's nothing else on TV. So join me for the next hour. Gonna have a bit of a chat. Really like to get some feedback, get your comments. What's going on in everyone's life. I've got a decent kind of show I think lined up. Some things that I've observed on the internet and social media over the past week. A few funny things that I think that might amuse you. Bit of politics. Love to have a bit of chat about politics on this show. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a kind of run through everything that's going on. I mean, obviously, the news is just completely dominated, isn't it, still by COVID-19. And we're in, I think in the UK, I think we're entering the fourth week of lockdown. Over 20,000 deaths. Thankfully, we've seen a decent drop in the number of deaths today. But it's still a serious situation. There's a lot of things going on out there that people are worried about businesses, about livelihoods, about being on the frontline services, doing services to, whether they're key workers in hospitals or, even people in the supermarket and things like that. So it's really good that you can join us. Really love to hear your comments. I'll give you shout outs and say hello. I think I can have little pop-ups like that. Nice setup. Thank you, Mr. Woolley. I really appreciate that. And so yeah, we're gonna do little things here and there. Try some new stuff out. Jeff Samways, no. What? You're gonna have to expand on that. And we'll have a little run back. So I've a few things to think about and talk about. Gonna explain to you why I think ice cream is the new key issue for the alternative right. Had some, saw some quite interesting stuff on one of these Facebook live chats that someone else does over in America. It's quite amusing. And if we get time, could even have a little quiz, maybe. Little quiz. And there you go. So Darren's looking forward to hearing from Boris tomorrow. Absolutely. So he is back. The big man. Boris is back tomorrow. He was seen at 10 Downing Street today after his long illness. Some people said it was fake. Doesn't really go with me. I don't really think that's the case. Just can't really see it happening. But he's back. What do you think about it? Let us know. You're happy, even if you're not a Conservative voter or supporter. Isn't it better? Isn't it surely better to have the Prime Minister of the country back in charge? We've had a steady stream of ministers getting up and doing the daily press briefings, and some have come in for a bit of stick. And I think having Boris back leading the way, standing there and giving everybody hopefully a bit of confidence that we're going to get through this, a bit of confidence that the country will recover. It's not going to be easy. But as I say, I think, whether you like him, hate him, like him, I think it's best for the country to have the Prime Minister of the country back leading the nation at this time, because it's difficult, isn't it? It is really difficult. The weather's been fantastic over the past couple of weeks. It's been perhaps made it a little bit easier to have the lock-in, the lockdown. Maybe it's made it harder. People have been going out and about. We've seen perhaps some mixed messages about whether people should stay in, go out. And I noticed on our local Facebook page for Southend today, that Southend Beach could be anywhere, couldn't it? Really, could be Spain, Canary Islands, LA, San Diego, but no, that was Southend. But the police were also out in force there, having a chat with the people there, and I think we've been quite a good household. We've been, we ventured out, I think, once because we had to drop some essentials off. I mentioned it last week to Gemma's mum, and we had a little walk across Malden Promenade, but that was about it. But none of this beach, going to the beach and sunbathing. It really just isn't going to help, isn't it? And a lot of people are worried about this second wave. People keep talking about the second wave, and I saw this today in LA. So there's a lot of reports at the moment in America that people are really not perhaps taking the lockdown seriously, not providing, not perhaps following the advice that they've been given to try and socially distance. So going to have a little chat about things like that. I've got a little list of 5 things that I think are going to be completely different and are going to take, probably never recover, but certainly going to take a long time to recover, and we'll have a run through those. But one thing that really caught my eye the other day, and it's funny, isn't it? Because everything's been absolutely dominated by COVID. Everything. You kind of sometimes miss other really big news stories that are just absolutely nothing to do with COVID. And this was one example, and I'm sure there's many more. But some time ago, last year, you might remember there was this guy, or there was this tragedy, an absolute tragedy, just down the road from where we live in Thurrock, in a lakeside retail park, where they discovered 39 dead Vietnam immigrants, probably illegal immigrants, but they were dead, regardless of how they, what their status might have been. And the guy driving the truck got arrested. And at the time, and it kind of shows you a little bit how dangerous social media is. At the time, I remember there being an absolute outcry about this guy even getting arrested. And I remember seeing things on my Facebook about this chap, he's just been picked on. It's got nothing to do with him. Before he'd even been charged, let alone there'd been a court case. And it was an absolute tragedy that these people died. And I missed it. I just, all of a sudden, it popped up. I came across it, and the guy pled guilty. So pled guilty. I can't remember what he got. He got quite a few years, but I just do think it shows a little bit, doesn't it, about how dangerous perhaps social media is. How perhaps it's a little bit silly sometimes to, and I do it myself, sometimes comment on stories before you know the full facts. Because my timeline, I remember it just being full about this guy, people who were supporting this guy, saying, it's outrageous that he's even been arrested as a result of these things. Got absolutely nothing to do with him, and he actually pled guilty to the manslaughter of these 39 immigrants. An absolute tragedy, and a story that clearly, in my view, never got anywhere like the kind of coverage it would have done if it wasn't for this whole COVID-19 thing. So it is actually a shame that there's probably some really big stories. There's probably some heartwarming stories that we're not hearing about, and rightly so. You know, the press is going to be dominated by this crisis that we're in, and you know, that's right. But you know, look out for some of these other small stories these other stories that are kind of that you know, you might miss otherwise if you're not looking hard enough. So that was that one. Hi Tammy, hope you're well. Tammy Kramer over there in America. She was my first caller. I haven't got my number on here today, but if you know me and you fancy getting on the show and you got my number or you got my WhatsApp or whatever, just give us a ring and get you on the show. We can have a chat on the show. If not, leave me a message. Drop me a message. I'll get your name up in lights on the screen. So what else has been going on? So did everyone see Puma's new trainers? Did you see the pictures of Puma's new trainers? So if you didn't, so look, Puma released these new trainers. Fantastic. Nice little style there, isn't there? But does it remind you of anything? Is there anything about those trainers that might remind you of a not particularly nice individual from history? Yeah? You must have it. So of course, yeah, so Puma released these trainers. And it's the spit, isn't it? It is the spit of Adolf. So not quite sure who was in the design department in Puma. So I'm not sure who was in the design department in Puma, but them trainers, something else. I've got to see them again. I've shrunk it down too much. So I'll tell you. So I am messing around a bit, trying this new stuff out. But look at him. Who did that? What were they thinking? Oh my God. My God. And they kind of just thought about it, can they? They really kind of thought about it before they got those trainers. So anyway, so if you're joining me today, certainly in the UK, there's nothing on TV, is there? There's nothing. They're doing a remake of Wonderval. Oh, sorry, Killing Eve's out today. I never watched it, but a lot of people rant and rave about Killing Eve. So that starts if you're interested, that starts in 3 minutes. So if you're into Killing Eve, but saying that, what's the point? You can watch all of this stuff at any time, can't you? You don't need to schedule back in the olden days. You don't need to schedule your time to watch to make sure you don't miss the TV, because you just watch the TV whenever you like. Just catch up, whatever. Catch up, watch it 3 times, 4 times. It gets repeated about 1 million times. So love you to stick with us. Give us some comments. Give us some thoughts. Let us know what's going on in your mind. Let's know what's going on, where you are. Essex has been glorious sunshine. We've been in lockdown. Gemma's been painting today. The girls have been out in the garden all day, running themselves ragged. So we've been good. We've been managing the lockdown, I think, in the way that we're supposed to. We've been restricting social distancing, and we've really kind of made sure that we've kind of, Dan, my boy Dan, went shopping today, and he took his gloves and his disinfectant and all these types of things and all these protections. And it's still amazing just how many people out there that are not even protecting themselves, but others going out there and coughing all over the trolleys, and no face masks, no gloves, and it's just a bit worrying. So you've got to really kind of think about how you're going to manage this kind of period. Because I'm convinced that what they're saying is right. Is if we get through this period and get through these next couple of weeks, then we're going to massively reduce the risk of this flaring up again. And there are some cases, I believe, I bet people are really nervous. I bet Boris is nervous, but the government's really nervous. They want to get people back to work. They want to get people out of lockdown mode. But, there's been reports that, these things could flare up again. I think Japan, there's been reports there, Spain, Germany. So it's really dangerous. So we're going to have to stick with it. Stick with it. Make sure that we're focused on what we've got to do, and hopefully we'll get through this sooner rather than later. So anyway, so what's the connection between the alt-right and ice cream? Okay, so I came across this. So I do follow this page called the Daily Wire, and what are they? They are. I mean, they are a bit right. They're not like Nazis. They're not like Puma wearing Nazis, but they are. They do all this. They everything they've been saying at the moment is, it's our fundamental right to get out of lockdown, and they're all pro gun, pro Trump. But I follow other stuff. I follow alt left stuff as well. But anyway, so I was watching this guy, and this guy, he was raving. He was absolutely raving. I don't even know what his name is, but he was raving about the lockdown and how it was everyone's right. But you kind of, I stopped listening to him and I just started reading the comments. I don't know how easy this comes across, but yes. So this one, it caught my mind because it's like this person saying, if it's all to do with 5G, wouldn't it kill the people putting up the masts? Wouldn't it wouldn't the people die putting up? But it's nothing to do with 5G. So as soon as I saw this 5G thing, I was thinking, this was quite fun to just read the comments, and I should have worn my glasses. So I started reading the comments just to see how kind of left field they got, or right field, because it's right wing. And so this one, talking about that, and it was this ice cream one. You see this one? So Jenny's ice cream. I don't know what it is. Marie something. That's a place. Something. $12 a pint. So the guy's talking about the lockdown, and everyone else is talking about 5G and how they hate Democrats and all that kind of stuff. And then this person just posts this thing about ice cream. $12 a pint for this ice cream. And then she goes, I'll stick with it a little while longer. So then the next one that pops up is this one's, you can get it cheaper. Where is it? You can get Bargain Basement and buy it for $9 at Central Market or Whole Foods. So nothing to do with the lockdown, really. Nothing to do with their fundamental rights or buying guns or anything like that. This was about how much is ice cream and how cheap can you get a pint of ice cream. So I thought, I'd have a little bit of fun. So the next, I was watching it, so I came across it someone else, and there he is. So this geezer, I can't remember what this geezer's name is. Ben something it is. And sometimes he talks some decent stuff, then other times. I was hoping I might get a response to my comment about where you can get a quart of ice cream. And no response. A couple of likes, no response. But I was hoping I might get a bit of engagement with these people, just to see if they wanted to talk about ice cream rather than Trump and Trump's press conference and all that kind of stuff that's been going on this past week. And everyone has been talking about it. You can't avoid it, can you? You cannot avoid the press conference about Trump and Trump talking about disinfectant and the impact of disinfectant on COVID-19. And yeah, so it's one of those things where you kind of think, all right, well, do I mention it or do I not mention it? And then if I mention it, am I just going to get shot down in flames and then people just going to jump on it? So I've got a disclaimer before I go into this, and that is, I'm not a Trump supporter, right? I think he's a bit thick. I don't think he's, I know there's a lot of people that, a lot of my American friends, some of my American friends, quite supportive of Trump, and I understand that. He's your president, he's not mine, right? My issue isn't with Trump, and it's not with America, and it's not with any of those kind of things. My issue, and it is an issue, and I think it is an important issue, is with the media and reporting. And a lot of people have been saying this at the moment, and it's about how things get reported. So this is BBC, Radio 5 Live. So BBC, the bastion of truth and integrity for the media the standard that everybody is expected to follow in the United Kingdom and respected around the world. And, you know, they've got this headline that pops up on my Facebook. And so it's talking about a story. It says that, so let's read that. The makers of Lysol and Dettol warn against Donald Trump's suggestion of ingesting disinfectant. Right? He didn't. You got to watch it. You got to watch the whole thing. And I'm not even right. Let's just be clear again. Let's just be crystal clear about this. I'm not a Trump supporter. Okay. But if you're going to report something, report the facts. Right? Report the fact that he's a bit of a weirdo that talks without engaging his brain, that is talks clearly. Anyone watching the whole press conference, the bit before and the bit after, and a lot of people, including the BBC, cut off bits, and they fitted the quotes that they put out there to fit what their headline was, and it came across in what he said that he was saying, it does a marvellous job on the lungs or whatever it was, and that'd be tremendous, and he uses all these words, and he's not. What he's doing, he's being stupid. He's just being, and like he said the day later or something, wasn't it? I was being sarcastic. He wasn't. He was doing what a lot of businessmen do and entrepreneurs do, and they come out with wild, manic ideas, and they throw them at the experts or they throw them at the worker bees and say, why don't we do this? And the reason why we don't do it, it's because it's mental. It is absolutely mental to even think about it. Can understand, we shouldn't, and actually what they do is they kind of sink in their chairs and they went, who was the idiot? Who told Donald that disinfectant kills it? Who told him that? Idiot. Because it's probably true. Probably true that you got a bit of COVID on a piece of paper or something, or on a litmus or in a petri dish, and you pour in some bleach, you pour in some Dettol and stuff like that. I can imagine it'd kill it. It'd kill you if you drank it. It'd kill you if you inject it in your body. So of course you're gonna pour some of this stuff on a petri dish, but just don't share it with Donald, because he's got. Oh well, if it kills it in a petri dish, is there a way you could put it in someone's body? And whoever said about the sunlight, we found out under UV light, it might actually have it might start killing it down or breaking it down a little bit. Wow. Why couldn't we just pump people full of light? Just blast them with light. Oh, Christ. You've done it now. Now we're going to have to go and find some sucker to inject. No, I'm sorry. Sorry, Donald, we did try it. Well, did you do it? Did you inject someone? Yeah, we did. So my issue isn't with Donald. My issue isn't with disinfectant. My issue is with media reporting. And I'd have the same issue if it was, and I'm sure it has happened, and I'm sure it happens quite a lot. And certainly, the conservative press are guilty of this in terms of things that, Labour people say and people that, on the left say, and they'll twist the. And I have just as much of an issue, I promise you, with that as I do this. It's just not right. You shouldn't be making a statement that clearly isn't true. It wasn't true. It wasn't true. He did not say, go and inject Dettol. He didn't. He's turning to the people. He's saying things. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think? Am I right? Am I wrong? So Tammy's American. He is a weirdo. He is, isn't he? He is a weirdo. He's very strange. He is very strange. So, yes, he is a weirdo. He is strange. Got some more people join us. Nick Smith, is this live now? It is absolutely live. It is now 21:24 on Sunday, the 26th of April. Nick, welcome. Hope you're well. Hope you're social distancing on your bike. I saw so Nick was making some crates. He started using his. Tell us about or post them up on the timeline if you can. Nick was with his daughter. He started using a milkman, supporting his local businesses, and all the milk bottles got busted in the first couple of days. And so he made a milk crate. I saw that on Facebook. And people are doing lots of different things these days. I'd love to do some baking, but we cannot find flour for love nor money. If anyone's got any flour out there, just plain. We've got self-raising coming out of our ears. But if anyone's got any plain flour and you can spare us it, don't send it over to us. Don't bring it around. Don't want any germs or anything. But we cannot get any flour. Been trying for ages. Would love to do some stuff with flour. Oh, so Tammy says she's trying to give me a ring. So we could have another caller. I think my phone was on silent. I'll listen out. Oh, hang on. We have got a call. Let's see if I can get this call on. Hello? Hello? Hang on a minute. Hello there. Hello. Is that Jeff?
Hello, John.
Hello, Jeff. So this is my friend.
Yes.
Mr. Jeffrey Lloyd. You're live on Facebook to the world.
First time caller from New Jersey.
From New Jersey. So I've had 2 calls in the 3 episodes that I've had so far. One was your wife, and now you. So I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
There's a pattern growing.
There's a pattern going?
There's a pattern going. So like the next caller I want one of the daughters to phone me up or someone else from America. It'd be, none of my English friends want to speak to me, only my American friends. So welcome. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well.
You're doing okay?
I'm doing well. We're dealing with lockdown very well.
You're dealing with it okay? Have you got the swimming pool open yet?
Yeah. No, we haven't opened the swimming pool. A little too cold for that.
Right. And in New Jersey, kind of like the beaches still closed, and down the Broadwalk and Atlantic City, is that all still closed down?
Oh yeah, everything's still closed up. The only thing that's still open is our redneck hillbilly ways down here in the sticks of South Jersey.
Give us an example. Shooting ranges. Is the shooting ranges are open? Right?
You're going to hear it right here. My example is, it's my daughter's birthday. She wanted crabs, so I went and got a bushel of blue claw crabs, which you know what they are, right?
Yeah, man. Really nice.
So I went down to the marina to clean the crabs, which turned into a couple cocktails, while we were cleaning the crabs.
Of course.
Which turned into about 15 trucks.
Oh, my God.
In a mud hole behind the marina in the middle of the field.
Right.
And just craziness. I sent you a picture, and that'll give you a description. That was my dad's truck, who's 82 years old.
Right.
And
as your dad, as your mum and dad been? Have they been kind of like making sure they're not engaging with people, and is someone else going out to shop for them?
Yeah, they've been going out a little too much. I had to.
Yeah, you got. I mean,
out and yelled at them. They feel like they have to go shopping all the time, and we got them under control now.
Good.
Duct tape.
So Jeff, to anyone watching, Jeff is a manager, and he's a builder. He builds houses. He's a man of many talents, and I've lost him. So Jeff, it was great speaking to you. So that was Jeff. If you want to, if there's anyone else out there who fancies having a little chat, and my Facebook, if you want to do Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp, that'd be great. But yeah, it was fantastic to have Jeff there on the. He's trying to phone me back, but the line wasn't brilliant. So the line wasn't great, Jeff. It was a bit crackly on our end. Not fair to my legions, my thousands of listeners. It was great to speak to you. I hope you're well. Hope everyone's keeping safe out there. So should we do this? Should we do this top 5? Shall I do my top 5 of things? Because it'd be great to get some views and comments from everybody. See if you agree. I don't want to depress people, but should we do let me do my top 5 things of things I think are going to change. Yeah, change a lot, but perhaps never get back to the same. So let So, number one, okay? So, number one is sport, okay? And I love a bit of sport. I absolutely love sport. Love West Ham. So, you could say, some people will say, well, that's not really sport. And I appreciate they're not everybody's cup of tea. And one of the things that I think is, oh, hang on a minute, this slide made me go silent. Okay, hang on a moment. So I'm still not doing it right. So that slide made me go silent. So as I said, I'm still having technical issues. I am sorry about that. So I'm gonna have to talk through the 5 things. So number one, I was trying to be clever. Thought I'd try something different. So number 5 is sport, and touched on this last week a little bit, but I was thinking about it a little bit more, and just I can't understand how sport can return to normal anytime soon, in any shape or form. We've already seen on TV things in the paper about the Premier League wanting to try and start up again, do it behind closed doors, show the matches live. But just even the logistics for doing that sounds really, really difficult. And there's so many conditions that people are going to put on, or the government's going to put on, before they're going to let, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people go to a stadium together. It's not going to happen, whether it's horse racing, whether it's rugby, whether it's football. It's just one of those things that I just can't see it working. And I can see so many different sports and so many clubs changing completely. I was talking to this with my son Alfie the other day. Certainly on soccer, the national game, football, I can see there being leagues merging, much smaller leagues. So many clubs going to the wall. Really can't see how they can survive. In fact, actually, when you say that, actually, some of the non-league clubs, the ones where they're pretty much standing areas, you very rarely get 500, 600 people going to something. Maybe if they can survive the worst of it and start playing games again, maybe they are actually better suited to be able to cope with the social distancing rules that the government's likely to demand. So again, I could be wrong, but I certainly think sport is one of those things that's probably never going to be the same again. And whether it's cricket, whether it's football, whether it's American football, I saw that they were running the NFL, the draft the other day. And now, so they're doing this draft and they're doing all this kind of thing and they're getting ready to go again with the NFL. And really can't see, unless they just go gung-ho and just say, sod the risk, let's just go for it. And if people want to come and watch the game, and, but I don't know. I really think that's going to be really, really hard. So I won't talk, but I will play the next thing. So I'll run through the next one. So yeah, travel and holidays. I didn't speak then, by the way. So it wasn't that you couldn't hear me. I just wasn't speaking. I just had to remind myself what number 4 was. So travel and holidays. Well, we've seen the airline industry decimated. We've seen, we're coming up to peak season. What would normally be peak season: May, June, July, August, for summer holidays, summer vacations. We would be normally looking forward to our holidays and getting our holidays, get 2 weeks away, and having a really great time in the sun and all those kind of things. But it's just not going to happen this year, is it? And it's not going to happen for a long time. And even when it does come back, even when we are allowed to start socializing and coming out of lockdown, people are not going to have the money for holidays. There's not going to be the airlines. They're going to have to try and kind of recoup some of their losses, pay off some of the loans that they've no doubt had to get, bridging loans to make sure that they can survive or pay their staff. So I think holidays are going to be more expensive, certainly overseas holidays. And I just, again, really struggle to see how that can get back to anything ever that, we was in this free movement, go anywhere, weeks in, fly anywhere, fly across the world, really easy to do, relatively cheap, and that's all gone, I think. I personally think that's all gone. You might disagree, really love to hear what you think, but I really do think that kind of gone. But not just travel on holiday, travel to work, if the offices reopen, if we get allowed to go back to offices in central London, there's been talk about us having to wear, compulsory to wear face masks. There'll probably be social distancing on the trains. But also business is going to look, every business with an office in central London, every business with an office in a major city is obviously going to look, if they survive, they're going to have to look at how they can save money. And where can you save money? You save money on accommodation. And they've probably invested money to make sure people can work from home. And so are we going to see anything like the mass transit, public transport of people from homes to offices in the future? I don't think anything like the scale of transport and travel to and from work is ever going to be, it's never going to get to that level again. People are going to seize the opportunities that have been created by COVID. Yes, it's terrible. Yes, it's horrible, but people have had to find ways of making things work, find ways of still delivering services, and making sure that they can survive if they can. Lawrence, if holidays for whatever reason can't be afforded, and I'm sure some will make them affordable, Little Airways. Yeah, maybe you're right, And as some of these, Lawrence, maybe some of these companies, as I say, will find new ways and opportunities. Maybe there'll be there'll be a whole new revolution in staycations, in staying at home, in maybe some of these provincial seaside towns that for many, many years across the United Kingdom have really, really struggled, fallen into disrepair in some cases. Maybe we'll see them starting to spring up again. A resurgence of people just going out to the local, going to the local beach, staying within the United Kingdom, not going to Spain, not going to France, not going to Italy or Portugal, wherever it is. And it's going to be really interesting to see how that pans out. I won't flick back on because I remember number 3. So number 3 was shopping. Shopping. Is shopping ever going to be the same again? Are people ever going to shop in the same way that they did previously? Well, certainly there's some of the shops that they used to shop at aren't going to exist. They just will not exist anymore. Whether it's clothes shop, whether it's what was it, Cafe Kitson? That was a girls' shop, in it. It's where they make little handbags with things and stuff like that. They went up the wall. Debenhams are going up the wall. There's a long list, isn't there? I'm trying to think. Was it New Look? I can't remember. Or was it Primark? Was saying that they've gone from £700 million a month revenue to zero. Oh, they'll probably survive, but shopping's never going to be the same again. And it was struggling. The high street was struggling anyway. Absolutely on its arse, on its knees, and you only had to walk through a mall, a shopping centre, and see the empty boarded up shops. Yes, they made it all pretty, and it looked like just an extension of the shopping centre. But that used to be a business. That used to be a shop or a service that was delivering something. And even the shops that are going to be open again. I saw something. There was a report in the press today about how some of those shops, if they want to reopen, they're not going to be able to have changing rooms. Again, they're going to have to issue face masks or not allow people in as couples. You won't be able to go shopping with each other. You can only go one at a time. And so I think shopping's going to be whatever's left over, and what becomes of our town centres. You know, the town centres where shops used to be. What's going to happen to that? Are they, they're just going to end up being boarded up for for years on end? What do you think? What do you think? I mean, a lot of people, I've seen it. I've seen a friend of mine, Steve Cook, said it the other day on Facebook. He said, you've got, when these things are over, whatever surviving, we need to support, whether it's a local business. As you say, Tony, you're right. Bang on the. I think they were looking to Lakeside, one of the biggest shopping centres in the United Kingdom. They were talking about going bankrupt before COVID even started. I think they were £2 billion in debt. I think they spent a huge amount of money redeveloping parts of Lakeside in Essex, and I don't think this has been as popular as it was they were expecting. They had a food court that was open a month, I think it was, and they closed that down after spending all of that money. And the businesses, some of those were long-established businesses that opened up in that expansion, but some of them seem to be quite new businesses, perhaps startups. And how are they going to be able to reopen when this is all over? I very much doubt it. I think it's going to be really, really difficult for them. So I think shopping experience, and of course what people have done, because they've been locked in, because they've been locked up, they've got, people have been forced to go down a route. They've gone down online, as you say, Lawrence. You just said there, So there are companies out there that have probably really benefited from the fact that people have stayed home, and they've had to, even if they hadn't in the past, perhaps they've been doing, I think Sainsbury's were recruiting more drivers and Tesco were recruiting more delivery drivers. The online, certainly the online food shopping market's gone through the roof for obvious reasons. And will people that have kind of got used to that enjoyed the experience, are they ever going to go out and start pushing a trolley again? Well, maybe they want to do. Maybe you want to get fresh air when this is all over. But there'll be a lot of people that that have embraced that experience. And some of the companies that were kind of there, like ASOS that Lawrence mentions, it's like some of these Boohoo and some of these other online shops that don't really have they don't have a presence, do they? They don't have a presence on our street. They don't have bricks and mortar to worry about. Like Wish. Has anyone ever bought anything from Wish? It keeps popping up. I want to know, has anyone bought anything from Wish? They don't have shops because everything comes from China. I guess those are the kind of things that we probably want to... Do you know what? There's a reason why when it pops up and it says, 500 gigabit... What was it? The one I saw? 500 gigabit SD, micro SD stick, one free... Was it free? Just pay the shipping, and the shipping was like £2. So I think there's a reason why it's free and you only pay £2. It's because it's made in a sweatshop and it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. But if you've ever bought anything from Wish and if you bought something from Wish and you've been happy with your purchase and you've found it to be excellent value for money of high quality, then I'd love to hear from you. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Let me know if you bought something from Wish. That'd be cool. So what was number 2? So it's linked to this. It is linked to this. So number 2 is the economy. Sorry, I promise you I'll finish on a high. All right. But number 2 is the economy. And billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of pounds pumped into the economy, pumped into supporting this furloughing scheme, pumped into making sure that businesses that were going to struggle or were going to otherwise probably make people redundant, didn't make them redundant, hopefully get them over this period. But what is it? I can't remember the percentage I saw. I saw something on the news the other day, and it was the contraction in GDP and the amount of money it's costing the government to do the things that they've done. And I'm not knocking them. I think that they have done the right thing. But we are going to be talking about and living with this. You thought there was austerity before. Labour have been very critical. Labour supporters are very critical about how when the Tory government came into power in coalition with the Lib Dems and the new Chancellor of the Exchequer came in, there was a note left by the previous Chancellor that said, I think they thought it was funny. If you're looking for any money, there's no money left, was the note that was left for the new Chancellor of the Exchequer, because Labour had come in and just spent shed loads of money. Well, can you imagine the note that Conservatives are going to leave for Labour if in 3 years, 4 years' time, I don't know. I mean, the economy is never going to be the same again. I think it's going to take years to recover, absolutely years. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not. And there is that issue, isn't there, that financial problems are a big factor in suicides. They're a big factor in depression and mental health issues, and whilst I will say it again, I do agree with what we've been doing, but the impact of these things, when these companies go to the wall, when people really start, or they already have, in their thousands. I think there was a survey, it popped up on Sky today, and it said something like, if the lockdown went on for 6 months, half the population say they couldn't afford to buy food, or something along those lines. So, I mean, of course, if the lockdown lasts for 6 months, the damage, can you say irreparable? Potentially irreparable. So yeah, sorry, I don't mean to depress people. But the economy it's going to be a challenging. God knows what. I'm going to be what, 50 now. Will I see the economy reach the levels that it has done in the past couple of years in my lifetime? I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if it didn't. I certainly know that my twins, my 4-year-old twins, 4 next week. I know that they're going to be paying for it for the rest of their lives, or the vast majority of their lives. So, Jeff, you've warning. Did you watch the documentary on Amazon this week? I didn't. So, yeah, Tammy said, can you tell us about it? So, if you could drop us a link or something, drop people. I didn't see anything about Amazon. I know they've got we've got a massive Amazon, huge, absolutely huge warehouse down the road. It's good for getting things same day because they're just down the corner. They just send out. Oh, Fred, John's ordered. Gemma. Oh, Gemma's ordered some stuff. We've got that on the third shelf. You just pop it up to John and Gemma's, could you? It's literally down the road. Or pop it into John and Gemma's on the way home. Every time the door goes, it's like, what, Gemma? It's either Next or Amazon, and it's like Gemma's gone. Oh yeah, I was just bored of them. So yeah, are we going to carry on shopping? Going back to the last, are we going to really carry on supporting companies like Amazon? I suppose we probably are, because it's just convenient, isn't it? It's just convenient. It's just and people have short memories as well, don't they? This will kind of all blow over, and perhaps we'll just carry on just sleepwalking ourselves and forgetting our local butcher and forgetting our local grocery, fruit and veg stall or whatever, and still just keep going back to the same old stuff that we did before and go for the cheapest option. Do you get UK over there, Tammy? UKT? I don't think they do get UK TV. What I'll do is I'll have a look and see if I can find what my Uncle Jeff is talking about. So the number one. So I'm going to finish. So sport's never going to be the same, in my opinion. Holidays and travel is never going to be the same again. Shopping's never going to be the same. The economy's might bounce back. Yeah, not sure. I really don't think. At some point, it might, maybe I've got that wrong. At some point, maybe we'll get back to the levels of, they talk about boom and bust. So this is definitely a bust period, isn't it? Definitely bust period. And so at some point in the future, but what future that is it my future? Well, as you said, things that I don't think are going to change in my lifetime, perhaps. So But the final one is a positive, okay? And this is kind of like, and I've heard quite a few people say it, but me and Gemma have talked about it, and we really need to make a commitment to follow through with this. And it's valuing little things. Will we value? I think we will value little things more than we've ever done before. The smaller things in life, the walk around the corner with the kids, the trip to the local seaside. Southend, I'd probably go twice a year, if that. I'd long to go to Southend. I'd love to go to Southend, like some of these idiots that went today in the sunshine. But just to walk along, and smell the sea air or the Thames estuary air. Just little things, hugging people, breaks Gemma's mum's heart. She had to pop round yesterday. She can't, the kids want to hug her, just want to give Nanny a hug. Little things in life. Maybe those little things in life that we took for granted for so long. Maybe that's a positive. That's what I'm thinking. Is there's going to be it's got to be a positive in just those little things in life, meaning so much more than they've ever done in the past. Because those are the bread and butter, aren't they? Those little things that just make you happy. Lawrence, so political, true. I probably agree with you. So yeah, we're at the point. So Corbyn was going to spend all this money anyway because he was going to turn us into a communist social state where he was going to spend 20 billion on free broadband, wasn't he? So the 20 billion that Corbyn was going to spend on free broadband, we've probably just given out a month's worth of furloughing people. As long as we don't give it to Branson. I'm never like. That's one thing. If he survives, I'm not flying Virgin again. Not flying Virgin again. He's taking the piss. Absolutely taking the piss, the bloke. And actually, the last time I flew Virgin, it wasn't all that. It was a bit crap. When me and Gemma went to Vegas, when she caught coronavirus, convinced of it, and it wasn't that good anyway. I hope BA survives. I like BA. I know they're part owned by French people, but look, little things, little tiny little things. What's the little tiny little things that you miss that you just can't wait? Excuse me. Even just going to the shops, just going to a local shop, just going to a pub, going to a beer garden. Now, I saw something today that said that they might open beer gardens first. So that'd be a result. So where they were saying, there was a little report and it said, if a pub, the government's considering if a pub can prove that they can put social distance measures in the pub garden and you can do all the serving thing and all that kind of stuff, then maybe that's a good idea. Rather than have people cooked up. But just go for a pint. What's the little things that you're missing? What is the tiny, tiny little things that you're missing that you just wish you could just do today? Or that when this lockdown comes, it's like, when the lockdown finishes, people ain't just going to go online and go, I'm going to book a holiday to Mexico. They're going to just do little things, aren't they? I want to take my kids to the park again. Just want to take the girls to. But yes, we've had good fun. We're lucky. We're fortunate. We've got a decent garden. They've got a nice climbing frame. But you can see that they're desperate just to have some level of interaction with other kids. They have walked. When they've been going out for exercise, they have walked to their friend's house and communicated 20 meters apart through the window. But just to be able to go and play with people again and play, you can see that they're desperate. I just want to do some of those tiny little things again, and just Jeff. But see my uncle. God, I miss a Weatherspoons. But he's been a bit of a prat, hasn't he? The guy who owns Weatherspoons, he's been a bit of a tit. I quite liked him before. He was like Brexit, and I kind of thought. I was quite into the bloke who owns the Weatherspoons pub chain. And then he turned out to be a complete prat. Treat his staff like shit. So, shouldn't you just, Uncle Jeff, you should just forget about Weatherspoons now. Find a pub, a decent pub, privately owned, and support that. That's what I would say. Lawrence, I miss saying after every game, West Ham game, obviously. I miss saying after every game, I'm never going again. Well, that's true. I just miss the experience. You know, I don't really miss going to West Ham. Sorry, I don't know. That's wrong. I do miss going to West Ham. I don't miss going to the ground, but just the fun of a day, a match day. You wake up and you know you got a game, and you got your little routines, and it's not as good as it used to be at the old stadium, and everyone knows that, and we know that we're probably going to get disappointed and we're going to lose again, but just the experience, just going with my sons and journeying and going on the train and buying some chips and having a pint and catching up with old mates and having a chat and just that little experience. But just going back to what I was saying before, maybe number one. I mean, that's why I put it as number one. Let's finish on a high. We're going to enjoy little things again. We're going to relish the little things in life, perhaps the free things in life as well. We're going to enjoy spending time with our families and playing board games. And I learned backgammon yesterday. I've never played it in my life. My uncle used to play it all the time, I remember, and he sent me a message yesterday. He said he loved backgammon. It reminded me of just being a kid watching him play backgammon. I've never played it before. I got beat 3 times because I was useless at it, and I got annoyed. But yeah, just playing things and spending time with family, cooking things, and it's just going to be. Maybe there are some good things that will come out of this. But it's a long slog. I was going to do a quiz, but I've run out of time. And I want to check my sound issues. Obviously, I won't want to play the quiz, and then you won't be able to hear the talking on it. So, we'll maybe do the quiz next time. And just like to say thank you very much to anyone who's watched live and commented and participated. Really appreciate you joining in. Anyone who's watching not live, I'll post up the next time. I'm going to try and do it every Sunday at 9:00, so kind of like a regular time. And maybe we'll talk about something completely different. Maybe we should have a non-COVID day next week. Do you think we could manage it? A non-COVID political day. What could we talk about? What do you want to chat about? What should we discuss if it's not COVID and politics? Yeah? Try that one. That'd be interesting. We'll give it a go. Maybe we'll give it a go. Maybe not. I don't know. It's the only thing to talk about at the moment, isn't it? COVID. But might have it a go. But look, thanks very much. As I said, really appreciate you joining me. Take care of yourselves this week. Look after yourselves. Stay at home wherever you can. That'd be fantastic. And look after each other. Look after yourselves. And hopefully I'll see you next week. Cheers, everybody. Thank you.